Well, hello, friends and family and people who love to watch Eisenhour Speaks. We're now back to a Thursday night schedule after a little disruption with last week with our Confederate moment. We were in Lexington, Virginia, celebrating the holiday, and I did not get around to doing an Eisenhour moment. Eisenhour Speaks, Confederate moment. I apologize. Lexington went very well. But tonight, I want to follow up on that wonderful, wonderful Second Amendment rally that was in Virginia on 2020. It was truly amazing to see so many wonderful patriots come from all over, really the country, but certainly around Virginia too. I actually was able to walk through the crowd and see many faces that I've seen before in a lot of our efforts here to preserve Virginia history. It was great seeing everybody. Also, I want to commend the fact that we acted as we normally do. Civilized, patriotic Americans with some guns. Yeah, that's the other thing. And again, everything that went off was beautifully done. The black-faced governor, who is a baby murderer, did everything in his power to make us do something crazy, and we did not take the bait. Thank all of you for such a thing. The world, in fact, the country certainly, but I would even say the world was looking on this. The way they had hyped this thing up is a bunch of, I won't even go into the names that they called us. But again, we're patriotic Virginians. Now, what's next? Here's the thing. We're still fighting in the General Assembly. And yes, we still need your votes down there. We need your calls down there. We need all kinds of activity down there to try to get some of these Democrat and a few idiot Republicans to stop assaulting our rights here in Virginia. Now I want to talk about that for a second. What is assaulting our rights? When you start passing bills that make us all felons, that's assaulting our rights. And if you have a politician that votes for such a thing, I have no name, no words for such a politician that I can say here on tape and not get in trouble with. Let's just say that they're satanic minions straight from the bowels of hell. I think I can say that. Now, what are we going to do about it in the future? We've got to keep on this. My recommendation is that we start having more rallies, not necessarily at the Capitol, although that could be one thing, but rallies back around in the sanctuary counties that we have. We go to these sanctuary counties and have rallies again at courthouses again. I think it'd be a very good thing for us to do around the state. To have more rallies, more speakers, sheriffs, and things like that, standing out and speaking about the assault that is coming from the General Assembly. Now, for a second, I want to back up here and talk a little bit about Virginia history. Folks, Virginia has been in this fight for a long time, and I am convinced that the assault that we are seeing now from these people are the same assault we saw basically 150 years ago from the same people. The Puritans and the Yankees from up north, and we have so many Yankees down south here that are destroying our heritage. I want to point something out to y'all. Many of you have seen the Virginia flag. And you see how this was a little bit different than the one that you see flying today. This is one of the original flags. Now, I just want to talk about it for a second. What does this flag mean? This was the original flag when Virginia seceded from the Union in 1861. They had no flag to represent Virginia. And since they had to have a militia to protect the citizens, they actually created a flag. And this was one of the flags they created. It was the battle flag that someone like Stonewall Jackson would have flown in the Valley when he went to war in 1861 to protect Virginia before they joined the Confederacy. Now, there's something about this flag. If you see, this is a picture of virtue. That is who the flag represents, virtue, the goddess virtue. If you see this particular rendition, which is after the Thomas Jefferson rendition of the state seal, you see that virtue has a full cursor over her breast. In other words, one of her breasts is not exposed. I'll get back to that in a minute. So you have here the goddess standing on top of a tyrant. Put your own face in there, whether it's Abraham Lincoln or baby murderer, blackface man. Now, either way, it doesn't matter. The point is, if you see the sword in the right hand is upwards, which means she is not surrendered. She's still in battle. And you can see the spear again is up in her hand, and she actually has the spear in use to where she could actually defend herself. This is one of the original seals of Virginia. It's down at the Capitol building if you want to go through that and see it. But this is one of the original flags. There are some renditions of this because, again, this was all done based off of a time of war, and they were trying to get stuff done as quickly as they could, so there was no mass production flags. However, the flags that we now have today, you go outside and see it. If you look, Virtue has her breast exposed. You also will notice that spear that she has upright is down. It looks like it's in the tyrant, but it's actually down in a surrender position. And the sword that she has up here, which she's ready to strike again with, is down in surrender. In other words, this flag was redesigned after the war by the Union occupation. We were under Reconstruction. They changed our state flag to what we see now. And the purpose of that was to say, we, in this case, the Puritans of Massachusetts and everybody else, raped Virginia, the mother of states and statesmen. That's why it exposes the breast, that she was raped. If you look at the spear is down, which is surrender, and the sword is in surrender position. So we have had literally at that time, in the sometime around after 1865, the Union occupational forces here in Virginia changed our flag to represent the fact that they had conquered Virginia. They raped Virginia. Now, most of you have never heard of this. You can check it out. It is the truth. I'm telling you it's the truth. I will say, after years of researching the General Assembly and other Virginia history, they have wiped out this history among the textbooks. We can't find out who actually designed the new flag. We know why it was designed, but we don't know who actually did it. We don't know who in Virginia voted for it to make our state flag. We know there's certain things that they've done over the years to add to that flag. But the original flag was showing that Virginia had been conquered by these people who came and invaded us. Now, why do I say that? Because, folks, we are in the same situation by the same evil minions of Satan today who are raping Virginia once again. Taking our guns, telling us that we can't teach our children how to hunt, taking our guns, saying that we cannot teach our children how to have self-defense, all this stuff, the red laws that they're passing. These people are trying to subdue Virginia again today. My question is, what you going to do about it? Now, Monday was a wonderful example of one thing that you do about it. You stood firm, you stood tall, you let your voice be known, there was no violence. I'm so happy about that, but we must keep the momentum up. We must, like I said, start doing other rallies through other parts of the state, attracting, again, thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of people at these rallies, to have, I guess, the local politicians who are going to be on our side through this fight, to be able to talk and express themselves so that in 2021, keep that, November of 2021, we have to come out and vote every, did I mention every Democrat the heck out of office. No Democrat in the left in the state legislature ever. They are horrible human beings. I don't even know how they even got elected in the first place. We have to unelect these people and take Virginia back from these usurpers of our heritage and our traditions. These are evil people. Not to mention the governor. I mean, he has to come up with the term. I'm sure they'll run somebody. I think Fairfax, a few of the other idiots are talking about running too. So I'm sure that we'll have a few running for the governor of Virginia on the Democratic side. We must vote every Democrat out of office throughout the Commonwealth. No Democrat. Now, and I mean that, none. They have proven to be unworthy of elected office. All of them. Now, having said that, I ain't no Republican. I don't care about the Republican Party. But right now, they're the ones that are at least guarding our freedom, or at least willing to vote to keep our freedom. So we must go with those who are loyal to the Virginia Constitution. Remember, we talked about the Second Amendment movement. This is a Virginia state issue. These people are usurping the Virginia Constitution. That's what it's always been about, taking away our rights as Virginia citizens, the Commonwealth citizens. They're taking away our rights here in the Commonwealth. These people have to be stopped, and they have to be stopped in the ballot box. But you must keep your enthusiasm going. And I think rallies that we'll have from now up until election in 2021, when we vote these people out, keep in mind, if you are a Democrat and you're in elected office, you are an enemy of the people. You've proven it because you're voting. You're proving you're an enemy. There is no excuse for you to voting to take away our rights, our God-given rights. There's no excuse for you voting the murder of our babies in the mother's womb. There's no excuse, none excuse. You understand, folks? We are under assault by the same people that assaulted us 150 some years ago. These are the grandbabies of those people. They're evil. They must be defeated at the polls, and we must remove them from the Commonwealth of the state of Virginia. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But keep your enthusiasm. Start getting your local government politicians in your counties enthused about coming out and having another rally in front of the courthouses or in front of schools or wherever we could have numbers show up. And we must start maintaining a vigilance about getting people involved, getting registered to vote so that we can vote these people out in 2021. If you're a Democrat and you're going against the people of Virginia, which you are, shame on you. How dare you do this? How evil you are. I can't even express the disgust I have with people like that. Why in gosh name would you ever go against your own citizens? This is what you're doing. There's no excuse for it. None. There's no excuse. You have no right to do that. The constituents have spoken. They want you to leave their guns alone. But yet here you are still voting after thousands. I know the numbers were 50 and 100,000. I don't know what the numbers actually were. I was there. I actually put it about 75,000, 80,000, but I certainly had no aerial view at the time. But how you can look at that many people gathering, saying the same thing, leave our guns alone. How can you then go into a general legislature and vote to take them away? There's only one word for it. I'm just calling it. It's evil, pure evil, satanic evil. And that's what you are. And if you don't like that, then you shouldn't vote that way. I would call on the governor and all of his evil minions to resign immediately. Of course, they're not going to do that because they think they have us on the run, but they don't. Because Providence is in charge of this. Providence will have the last word on this. As long as we hold true to our Constitution, we hold true to the Providence's will about doing a peaceful restoration of the power here in the Commonwealth, we'll be doing okay. So until next time, y'all keep it safe. Bye-bye.